Hello and welcome to SUSE Live. My name is Brent Schroeder. I head the office of the CTO for SUSE, and on SUSE Live we chat with industry leaders and those that are in the know on what customers are doing, what the challenges are, and try to bring forth some of the solutions, opportunities that might be available to you guys, our customers, to address those issues. So with me today, it's Colin Rutherford. Thank you for joining me, Colin. I'll give Colin a moment to introduce himself.
Thanks. Yeah, my name is Colin Rutherford. I'm a global pre-sales lead for developer technology and multi-cloud at Dell Technologies. It's great to be here.
All right. So today what we want to talk about is modernization of a virtualized infrastructure. You know, we get, I know when I go talk to customers these days, whether it's on the agenda or not, one of the first questions they ask is, hey, I've got this virtual infrastructure and I need to know kind of where are we going with it, you know, what are options and so forth to do going forward. So what we want to talk about today is how do we modernize a virtualized infrastructure. Right. So you get that same question when you go out on the road and talk to customers?
Yeah, look, there's obviously, if we look at the last 12 months or so, there's been some fairly compelling events in the industry. And I think that's led customers to a point where they've had to pause and really look at their virtualization solutioning that they have and start thinking forward. You know, what are my options going to look like? And you know, when I look at these conversations, you know, SUSE virtualization has been at the forefront of these conversations. And I think the reason being is that the approach that SUSE takes is that they're not only offering a alternative to the virtualization layer, but it's the value add on top of that by being able to bridge in containers and container orchestration. You know, with virtualization borrowing from the Kubernetes constructs, it really is a better together story, and I think customers really like that because they're on that journey towards app modernization, and it gives them safe passage knowing that they can run a platform that's modernized and fit for both purposes.
So maybe I can elaborate just a little bit on SUSE virtualization and what that is. So with SUSE Rancher Prime, we have an option called SUSE virtualization, and it essentially uses the Kubernetes and cloud native constructs to host and operate a virtual environment right alongside of a containerized environment. So it gives you that consolidated experience. Now, the one thing that we heard loud and clear from customers is that, you know, I love this idea, and I've got a big investment in enterprise storage, and I need enterprise class data storage, reliability, resiliency in that virtual infrastructure, even though it's a cloud native infrastructure. And so recently we've teamed up with you guys and brought forth that enterprise storage. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what we did there and what's available?
Sure. So there was a lot of work that went on between the two organizations to go through testing and validation of Dell's enterprise storage platform offerings to make sure that they can seamlessly integrate into that SUSE virtualization layer. You know, a big part of that is obviously catering for the persistent state applications that we see a lot of inside the Kubernetes world, and bringing that enterprise storage to the equation for that need. And what that looks like is it's essentially through our CSI driver that we created across the range of products that we have, which is also part of a larger initiative for our container storage modules. And what that is essentially a range of modules to bring enterprise storage to the cloud native side of the house. So that covers things like replication, resiliency, observability, and also app mobility as well, where we can essentially take advantage of all those enterprise storage features that we know and love in the cloud native world. So some great value there.
Excellent. So let's talk a moment about what is the value proposition of cloud native container or virtualization and managing that in that manner. I think there's three areas of value proposition that I see. So the first one is operational efficiency. Right, the bringing together of them. Can you elaborate a little further on why that's a value proposition and what that brings to the customer?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the operational efficiency is a big piece of it, in that, typically these teams have been siloed in nature, with different operational processes for building, running, and managing applications, as well as the infrastructure. So by combining those together and having a singular platform, it means that those operational processes are condensed, simplified. You've got teams that are now cross-skilled in both worlds, and I think ultimately that's a win, because it means that we can push applications out faster, and also have that infrastructure layer ready to go and operationalize, both whether it's a virtualization bound application or a container bound application. So,
I think another advantage in their value proposition in there is, somebody might be modernizing one application or a part of the application that might integrate with a third-party app or a legacy app that they don't want to invest in the transformation to cloud native. So now if I can bring both my virtual components into the context of the container components, I can operate and manage those as a solution, as a whole, rather than having silos of management in a single business context, which creates challenges. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a good point, right? We are seeing, obviously, in the industry, applications are migrating north on the abstraction layers. But to your point, they're not moving forward necessarily in a whole lockstep, right? So they're leaving components behind for different reasons. So again, when you have an application architecture that spans across different abstraction layers, from virtualization up through containers, you need a platform that's going to cater for the multiple abstraction layers in use.
Exactly. So you said something in there that I think is touches on value proposition number 2, and that is organizational efficiency. Right. And I think the organization benefits, the individuals benefit from this transformation as well. What are your thoughts on that part of it?
Yeah, so I think, look, based on my conversations, the technology part is probably the easiest part. I think it's the people and process that is often the most challenging, because if you're introducing a net new technology, there's upskilling required and a level of confidence required. But I think because we're borrowing from two, I guess, well accepted domains, being Kubernetes and the virtualization layer, these are concepts, there's tooling that they're already somewhat familiar with, and I think there's a lot of organizational gain around that, because the people are feeling a little more confident right off the line. It's familiar to them, and I think it also aids the acceptance, right, of the different technologies and seeing it as a singular platform solution. So a lot to gain there.
Totally agree. So, okay, and number 3 is one that not only does the IT organization like, but the CFO likes. Right. And that's the opportunity for cost savings. And I know that was kind of maybe the catalyst for the interest and excitement in the industry about where the opportunities. So what are you seeing on the cost side?
Yeah, look, I think every conversation I have, cost is a piece of that conversation, and I think again in that same theme of condensing and bringing the platform together and catering for both sides, there's a lot of inherent cost savings that come with that. I think for a long time there's been very separate technology stacks in play, very separate costs in play, and of which they're quite expensive. So I think this compelling event that I obviously mentioned at the beginning has forced people to take a pause and look, and I think when they start to investigate the options that are available, they're finding that there's a lot more cost-effective options available, and I think that's good for everyone. It's good for the customers, it's good for the partners, it's good for SUSE and Dell Technologies, because we can bring to market now and offer potentially more cost-effective solutions.
Absolutely, and let's companies invest in the modernization rather than invest in continuing legacy architecture and infrastructure.
Yeah, cost saving whilst modernizing is a win-win.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Okay, very good. So I think that catches it. One other aspect I'll kind of bring here as we wrap up is, I think I see kind of 2 personas in the industry. Those that are kind of the this is how we've done it in the past, and this is just how we do it approach. And there's going to be companies that do that, and then there's the companies that say, it's a cloud native world. I'm on a cloud native first journey. And so let's bring it all together. And I think that's who this fits really well with. Are those that want to do it differently, that want to do it better, and are on that cloud native first journey.
Absolutely.
So I think our call to action for you guys today, and as you're looking at your virtualization strategy, looking for alternatives, I would almost encourage you to not look for legacy alternatives, but look for modernization opportunities that allow you to have a better investment profile, save money, more organizational efficiency, and kind of bring together the two into a common paradigm. And it'll put you ahead in the long run for sure.
Absolutely.
So with that, I want to first thank you, Colin, for joining me today.
Yeah, great to be here.
It's been a great conversation, and one that we get to have every day with our customers. And again, I want to thank you guys out there for joining us on SUSE Live. Look forward to seeing you next time.